Aloha, my name is Tia Quinn, and I'm an astrologer from both Seattle, Washington and Puna, Hawaii. I am making this video in regards to allegations that have been made against my former astrology teacher, Kaypacha Lesher, aka Tom Lesher of New Paradigm Astrology. I met him at a conference on the Big Island of Hawaii at Kalani, which is a retreat center on the coast where I grew up. It was called River of the Stars, and it was hosted by Maurice Fernandez. And at this conference, I happened to be the youngest person at this conference by 10 years. Everyone at this conference was a professional astrologer who was practicing. And I ended up at this conference because I started watching Kaypacha's Pele report in about 2013. And it really reactivated my interest, my lifelong interest in astrology. I've always been very into the stars, into astrology. I've always studied this. Even at a young age, astrological texts really interest me. And so this in no way was a new subject that I enjoyed. Oops, I'm running into a boat. My bad. I need to get my little paddle out on a kayak because I was pretty stressed out about this entire thing. Anyway, now that I'm not running into boats, I heard about the River of the Stars conference because Kaypacha was promoting it. And I was at my girlfriend's house, and we thought, if he's coming to the island where I currently lived at the time, that it would be fantastic to meet him. And I'm an event promoter. I throw small boutique festivals, and I've done so in both the Washington and Seattle areas, or surrounding Seattle areas. I usually throw them in kind of remote places. Anyway, I reached out to him to throw him a party, and that's how we ended up meeting. The party was scheduled after River of the Stars conference, and so that was our first encounter. And I'm not going to describe the events that happened from the moment of our meeting in this video. There are other things I would like to address in this video. However, I have created a blog post about this with details of the entire story that spanned from the years of 2015 into the summer of 2018. I actually have not heard from Kaypacha since then until this very day, which is I don't know, all of these things are kind of prompting this. I would not have came forward and spoken about any of these things because I felt that because of his following, because of who he is to so many people, because of how special he is to so many people, I was really afraid to share my story with anybody. I really felt like I would be dragged, and currently I've heard that he has released a video to his 113,000 followers, dragging me as of an hour ago. I haven't been paying any of his videos discrediting his Dream Team astrologers or anybody, any of the women that are coming up and out against him. I know Lauren posted her video, and we have been in communication for the past several days. And I think one of his assistants, Zoe, has posted something. So here it is. After hearing from Lauren and her story, I felt it behooved me to say something because of my close connection with this particular teacher. It behooved me to say something as a woman in defense of other women being discredited. I'm about to run into another yacht here, so I need to get this paddle engaged before I hit them. Give me a moment. Not everyone but Kaypacha. Kaypacha's not the only one that likes nature when it gets to paddling, so I don't hit anybody. Okay. Anyhow, in response to seeing, the disbanding of the Dream Team, posts from both Timothy Halloran and Christina Claudill, and a couple of the women coming forward that have been put in a similar position as me, I felt it very necessary for me to be sharing what I know and what I have personally experienced, having Kaypacha Lesher as my teacher from that moment that we met in 2015 at the River of the Stars conference. I've detailed my entire story, and this includes photos, screenshots, links, anything that I could pull up to be able to demonstrate to you that what these women are saying, what these former colleagues of Kaypacha are saying, are true statements. They are not liars, and they are not lying to you. And what is happening right now is, you look around and it's like everyone's getting called out. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're, a small town person. It doesn't matter if, you're big in some scene or whatever. It doesn't matter if you're famous. It doesn't matter if you're, essentially the Harvey Weinstein of the astrology community. All of you motherfuckers are getting called out, and now is the time. And the person that I'm calling out is my former teacher, Kaypacha of New Paradigm Astrology, for his gross abuse and misuse of power as a spiritual leader and astrologer in our community. The way that he has treated young women at his workshops and women in general, especially his poor wife, is deplorable. And, as a young astrologer, I don't want any other women to go to a Kaypacha workshop or a Kaypacha conference with the expectation that they are going to be learning astrology from a person of integrity. I don't want any of you to be duped the way I was duped with this false prophet, with this false teacher, with this man that does not walk his talk, with this man that lies to all of you on a weekly basis via his Pele report. And so I have outlined, I think it's probably like 25-page blog post on my website, which I will be sharing alongside this video for anyone who wants to dig deeper and explore and see for theirself what kind of man is behind this report that all of you are just eating up. You're eating it up. This man doesn't give a fuck about any of you. He gives a fuck about money. He gives a fuck about his reputation. He gives a fuck about pussy. And, I'm tired of holding on to his secrets. I'm tired of the burden of keeping them to myself. I'm tired of staying quiet. after years and years of feeling very hurt about how I'm sorry, about how used I was by this particular man and teacher that I trusted with my studies that I take very seriously. I'm really tired of being quiet about this. I haven't really told my story to more than a few very close friends of mine that I've known for probably 22 years until these guys on the dream team, they shared that he had been unfair with them, and then Lauren also came out and shared her story. And Lauren shared her story, and I had been told that he was stopping all of this years ago. I had been told that he was going to finally be faithful to, his beautiful wife, Laura, and that's what he intended to do, that he was going to walk his talk, that he was going to be in integrity. And yet here I find out that at his astrology conference, Astrology Rising, which I also attended, I believe it was in the May of 2017, that here, after I had parted ways with Kaypacha and he said he was changing his ways, he goes and targets another young woman, and they end up hooking up. It wasn't a lengthy affair like ours was. Sorry, I'm like really messing up with my words. I used to have really terrible speech impediment, so speaking at all has always been hard for me, let alone doing a video that's going to be seen by thousands of people. So forgive my emotion. However, when I heard about Lauren, which I did hear from his lips a couple years ago, that the way he posed it was there was a woman that he had taught a workshop with, and they hooked up, and that she was trying to blackmail him, and that he canceled their workshop. This is not the story that I have heard Lauren express. Lauren was the same age that I was at the time that I met Kaypacha, 27 years old. I think that, I don't know, astrology kinks, it's very strange, but I do believe he has a kink for, young astrologers before their Saturn return, because they don't know any fucking better. And they're naive enough to believe his bullshit. And they're naive enough to believe that by associating with him, that their careers will be advanced, that they will be elevated, that they will be treated like the goddess that he speaks of when he does his reports. His astrology reports are particularly geared towards a woman audience. His workshops have mainly an all-woman attendance. There are usually 2 men to every 20 men at one of his workshops. Many of these women have been through vulnerable times and share these times with him. And as a teacher, as a therapist, as an astrologer, as someone who is giving people advice as his profession and getting paid for it, I am completely disgusted with his behavior towards me and to these other women and to many more that I might not know about. And so that is why I'm finally coming forward with my story. I'm not going to get into it here. Like I said, it's going to be on my website and shared via a blog post that I have compiled a lot of mine and Kaypacha's correspondence, photos, links, and a description of my story. However, in this video, I would like to say, as, you're passing down such a lineage of knowledge to the next generation, it's, it's the teacher's responsibility to the student, to the future generations who are going to be taking on the torch, moving forward with astrology, going new places with astrology that we haven't explored before. It is the responsibility of teachers who are passing down this sacred knowledge to have and uphold a certain standard of ethics. And sleeping with your students all over the world, I don't know how many you've slept with. I don't know all of their names. I know a lot of their names because you have personally shared this information with me in hopes that I would be complacent and not share this information because of my love for you, Kaypacha. But, the best kind of love is tough love. And I love you, Kaypacha, but you are long overdue for some very tough loving. You have too many people following you that don't think for themselves, that are in a love and light only stage of thinking, and they are not willing to look into the shadow of someone that they have idolized and hold so dear. And unfortunately, these other women, they didn't really have much backing it up, but I do. And I really hope that anyone watching this explores this information that I am sharing about this person who so many women around the world are just, are buying that he's an actual, that he's an actual man worth following, that he's actually, one of those superior men that respects the goddess. I am here to tell you that he is not. He is not. I want from Kaypacha for him to make a formal and public apology to myself and all women individually that he is hurt with his unethical behavior and transgressions. Oh, well, I lost my battery and I had to go get my little solar panel thing to continue. What I want from all of this is that Kaypacha actually face up and take accountability for his actions and not hide behind any more lies, any more secrets, and actually fully come into the light. Kaypacha, you always said, the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. And honey, your shadow is as dark as they get. And none of these people realize that they're following someone with so great of shadow, or, so great of a unresolved shadow, an unworked on shadow, that, I have to say something. It would be, as I'm coming into myself and I'm coming into, my studies and, wanting to create my own practice, I need to be in a place, when I become a teacher, that I am ethical and that I hold to the standards of ethics that I would have wanted to be treated when I entered into this field. You know, I don't want any more women to go into the field of astrology and be discouraged by men like you. You know, so I would like from you, Kaypacha, a public apology to me personally. I know right now, currently, you are putting out a series of videos slandering, you know, half of your dream team and any woman that's speaking up against you, but don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare, after all of our times together, think that you're going to get away with lying about this experience that you had with me. Because I have the proof that this experience was a real experience, and there's nothing that you can say that is going to make it untrue. There's nothing that, there's no lie that you're going to be able to tell that's not going to dig you a deeper grave than you've already dug for yourself in your dishonesty to the entire New Paradigm astrology community, in your dishonesty to all of your, you know, the people that actually genuinely wanted to fucking learn astrology from you. You know, the dishonesty to Laura, who I don't know why has stayed with you all of these years after what she knows, after how many people you've gone behind her back without her knowledge and been intimate with. You know, we hooked up the first time. It wasn't even a few months. It was probably 6 months after you got married to Laura. And, you know, as casual as you treated everything, as casual as you behaved with me at all of those workshops in front of other people, I was made to believe that you had a much more polyamorous relationship than it ended up being with Laura. And, you know, I ended things when I found out. I did the honorable thing. I stepped away. And yet here, years later, my name is being dragged through the mud by you. It's completely deplorable. Disgusting. I am only a couple years older than your daughters. Okay? I'm gonna smoke now. It's not very spiritual, but guess what? Your teacher, Kaypacha, he sends me on errands to pick up his cigarettes. He hides in the bushes to smoke his cigarettes, but I'm gonna smoke one in front of you right now because I have no shame and I'm fucking stressed out even fucking telling this story. I've been awake and looking through emails between us that span years for the past 72 hours. And I'm, first of all, ashamed that I was so young and foolish that I fell for any of your fucking crap, bullshit, fake ass astrology. I just listened to my reading that I had, which was conducted in my bed at a retreat center, not in the office where everyone else got their fucking readings, in my bed. And it's pretty much, listening back, just coercion into getting comfortable with the idea of you trying to fuck me soon right after that reading happened in my bed. This started, you know, a year and a half tryst between us. We went all over the world. You can't deny this, motherfucker. I swear to God, it's so disgusting that you're on there. I don't know, I think you called me Mexican. Bitch, I am a black woman. And mixed. And I don't appreciate that. Let me just tell you. Not because I dislike Mexicans, because You fucking know that. I did not just appear in fucking Mexico, okay? I grew up on Kilauea. One of my other things that I have to fucking say to you right now is, how dare you, as such a patriarchal, lying, cheating of a man, use Pele's name for your report to promote your work, to promote work that disempowers women through faking that you are empowering them. Pele would not approve of this. Let me fucking tell you, buddy. Pele hates fucking howly motherfuckers like you that think they can go around fucking taking advantage of young women and fucking taking their fucking money and fucking putting your dick in them and fucking disrespecting them the way that you have. Disrespecting your wife the way that you have. Pele hates howly ass motherfuckers like you. Fake ass bitches. Pele, I swear to God, if Pele was in fucking Costa Rica right now, she would cover your ass, dude. She would fucking cover your ass in lava without a fucking regret. I demand that you, as a howly man that is out of alignment, that is treating women the way that he treats women, do not use the island that I grew up fucking doing hula on with the Kuma hula that was at Maurice Fernandez's fucking conference. Bruh, I did hula with the Kumu hula that was at that conference for fucking 8 years growing up. I grew up chanting on sacred Hawaiian ground. I am not Hawaiian, but I have complete respect for the fucking Aina, and some fucking howly man using Pele's name to promote his phony ass spirituality to a bunch of naive women is fucking bullshit. And I demand that you change your name. And you know, you joke all the time about, calling it the Banana Report. Well, guess what? It should be the fucking Banana Report. Don't use Pele's name. You better fucking not. Because I swear to fucking God, Pele's coming for your ass. She is the goddess of both creation. She is the goddess of destruction. And let me tell you, it is completely disrespectful to be using her name for any of your fucking bullshit. And I demand that you remove Pele's name immediately from any of your work, because she's not having it, bruh. She's fucking not having it. I would also like to take this opportunity to apologize directly to you, Laura, for any of my part in hurting you, woman to woman. It was never my intention. I never knew. And at the time that you reached out to me, I wasn't mature enough or in the space to even see your hurt, because I myself was hurting by the actions of the same man. And I really feel for you, Laura, but it's just like astounding to me that you would stay with someone like that, that you would defend someone like that, that you would discount the experiences of the other women. I've had a lot of situations in my life, Laura, where I've been cheated on, where the same thing has happened to me, before Kaypacha, after Kaypacha. It happens to lots of women. And, a lot of women, they'll go and they will attack other women who their partner was sleeping with. But that's not sister to sister like you've been demanding. That's not how you heal the sister wounds that you keep putting out there on other people. And the thing is like, that wound started with that man. It did not start with me. It did not start with Lauren. It did not start with any of the other women that this so-called spiritual teacher has taken advantage of in his time, in his position of power. And, you know, in recent years, when things like that have happened to me, you know, it's the guy who's going around lying to all of us that is the one that you should be calling out. You should personally be calling him out. And I urge you, please, 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 honey, leave this man. Not for me, not because I'm gonna swoop in, not because of any other fucking woman, but to respect yourself as a woman. This man does not respect you, and he doesn't respect any of us. And there is no reason for you to continue a relationship that's based on completely like a mirage. It's a mirage of a man that you're with, and it's so sad to me to see you defending him, to see you forgive him over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, God damn, like, is it your generation of women that just like getting fucked over by the patriarchy forever? I don't know. But, you know, my generation's not going to be. And I am about breaking generational patterns. My grandmother was beat by my grandfather for 35 years. My mom was in abusive situations, you know, during her relationships. It is a pattern through most women that they are in scenarios where they are compromising their values in order to keep someone in their life, in order to keep so-called love in their life. But let me tell you, it's way better to fucking stand strong alone and have, you know, the integrity yourself to move forward, and the, you know, the willingness to be alone and sit with your shadows and sit with yourself alone and heal. Because it's taking me, you know, I'm not healed from this situation with Kaypacha, and that's why I'm coming forward. There's been no conclusion, you know, no closure. I haven't been paid off. I've got no money out of this, you know. Just, you know, the betrayal of someone that I entrusted, like, I entrusted a lot of my time and energy, you know, to, with the willingness to learn. And so to be treated the way that he has treated me, you know, Laura, I can't even imagine how terrible that all of this news must be for you. But you've seen this the whole fucking time. You've seen it. And you've attacked women. And I'm asking you to finally, you know, liberate yourself from this person who is not. Another thing I'd like to address is that, you know, it's been, you know, my life dream to open a retreat center and to have a retreat center. So in my time with Kaypacha, we traveled all over the place to a few different retreat centers, and, you know, I can't really remember a retreat center that wasn't, you know, it wasn't hosted by another woman. So this is specifically to women and men who host retreats and host these kinds of spiritual teachers. Really think about who you're hosting and who you're exposing the guests of your retreat centers to, because please believe, if, you know, when I have my future retreat center, I'm going to step in when I see this kind of behavior from teachers. A lot of these women were much older than me. You know, I feel like they could have, you know, maybe stepped in and given me any kind of fucking good advice like my best friend did, who's a little bit older than me during these troubling times. And she said, that ain't right. You need to fucking leave that old fucking asshole alone. He's a charlatan. And, for a while I didn't listen to her, and I was totally, delusionally, and girlishly enamored with Kaypacha and his teachings, and I thought he was so cool. He was like a rock star to me. I was like, wow, I get to fucking cruise around with fucking Kaypacha. I get to smoke weed with Kaypacha. I get to fucking do mushrooms with Kaypacha. Whoa, yeah, I was super starstruck. I might have in some weird way, but not in a true way. Well, I don't know. I'd say, yeah, I truly did love Kaypacha. I did not think that he was in I thought he was in an open relationship when we were hanging out. And this is in no way a Me Too or Kaypacha, sexually violated me. I was completely into these interactions with him, which were numerous. But, as a young lady, I'd never experienced some of these things before, you know what I mean? It was new to me and really exciting. And it was even more exciting for me that it was my most idolized teacher doing it. So, these things are more common than people would like to believe. There are a lot of things that go on behind the scenes between, teacher and student. And, it's unfortunate that a lot of teachers are so tempted by the allure of the power that they get in being in that position where they have followers, and at EA, it's the, second stage spiritual. And I mean, Kaypacha's reached it. You get a certain state where you have these followers where, the temptation is great to go off the path and, be devious and to be, unethical. And he's beyond went there. And, I would like for the entire community that going forward at both conferences, workshops, and in your private consultations, that as an astrologer, any astrologer who's out there practicing astrology, and especially, if you've been behaving out of alignment in any of these arenas, you're doing a great disservice to astrology as a profession when people go around trying to discredit astrology constantly. We don't need another phony ass motherfucker out there taking advantage of young women and not walking the talk. So, I mean, there are going to be fans of Kaypacha's that kind of probably are going to attack me. I'm sorry that you are in a space that you are being taken advantage of, and I hope and pray that you see the light, and I especially hope that you read through my blog post before making any decisions, because I have not really laid it out in this video. This is just an intro for what I have worked the past few days on compiling, so that you can all see the real wizard behind the Pele Report, which hopefully is soon to be named the Banana Report, because it's much more suitable for a dirty old man that would go around taking thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars from doe-eyed young astrologers like myself to get his dick wet, when all my intention was being my own fucking astrologer. Enough with the tomfoolery. we're over it.